Hello, it's Fran Davidson from psychicandenergywork.com.au. I'm sorry about the repetitiveness of that opening, but it's probably important to place the video. This is part one, or maybe part two, of the video portion of October 2024's monthly observations from me, Fran Davidson. Part one has already been posted. Part 3 and 4 will be posted in a second. Please watch them all because they're discussing various aspects of last month and this month as a spiritual, intuitive and energetic journey. You can also, and it's probably worth going through to my website to the monthly observations page, where before each video link, I'm actually adding some perspectives about what I'm just about to run through. So my aim is to mix it up a bit by delivering these two formats, the information via these two formats. Please let me know how it goes for you. All right, so this video is very much about October 2024's birth numbers. In a numerological chart, there are three main numbers. There are the birth number, the MO, and then the reality number. The birth number tells us what we're about to learn about, experience, come to know, and therefore choose to channel or not as a spiritual or egoic dynamic over the period in question this month. So it tells us the what. The how we're going to do that is triggered through the birth name, which will be in video 3 in this series. And then the ultimate states is denoted by the reality number in a chart, and that is going to be found in video 4, part 4 of this video series for October 2024. So I hope that helps to place the video and add a little bit more meaning for you. So every October, right, bear with me, double back. Numerologically, there are always, when we're looking at months or years, there are always two layers of number. They're what I call the generic level, and that is the level that appears every time a month comes around. So every October, we see a birth number of 10-1, and I get that by adding up I get that by observing the fact that October is the 10th month of the year. So its birth number is 10. You add those two digits together, 1 plus 0, and you get a 1. So it's a 10-1 period. Now, 10-1 is a really interesting time. It can feel more alone. It can feel at times more abandoned even, as in, where's life gone? Where's the universe gone? Where's my guidance gone? It's not flowing like it was in the previous moments. 10-1, in a sense, you could say it's a bit like an adult stepping away from a toddler to let them discover the space that they're in all by themselves a little bit more. At times, again, that can feel quite cruel or unkind. At other times, it can feel really energizing. Yippee, I've got the space to myself. Let's go. Let's make it happen. So no number ever speaks only of the negative. It also speaks of the positive. And at the end of the day, at least some of that comes out of how we interface with things. So 10-1 is an interesting time because 1 in itself is get to know yourself. Not only yourself, but self is a dynamic that plays through anything and anybody, whether that's energetic or physical. The self is not just a physical I, me, you, them. Yeah. Self is an energy. Self is a strata of energy. It's not just one point of energy, but in a sense, therefore, it's a spectrum through which can manifest, shall we say, very egoic, limited, self-focused in a perhaps a less constructive or a less harmonizing way, through to the spiritual, where, hello, I am, but I'm not necessarily, I'm definitely not on a spiritual level, causing tension, causing chaos, causing polar or bipolar states, black, white, good, bad. You with me? On, off, win, lose. So we're all a mix of both. We're all partly egoic, we're all partly divine. And so as individuals, the more we, should we say, grow, hopefully, we become aware of the fact that every second is a choice. In every moment, we are given the choice of which part of ourselves, which soul in us is going to be allowed to drive, influence most, manifest most, and therefore determine the outcomes. So one is very much a time that is about learning more on this level, not necessarily because we choose to, but because life is as a spiritual forum, as an energetic and intuitive forum. And all of those words, really, they're all linked. You can't really separate them. One comes with another if you're really doing it. So one is very much a time where life helps us get to know ourselves in some way to the next level, and in a way that we haven't done it before. Now, I don't know about you, but last month was really powerful on this level. A lot more sort of, my goodness, I'm starting to sort of integrate with what's been going on. I'm starting to get the hang of it, but also I'm starting to sense that I'm actually solid, secure. You know, there's been a reason for everything, perhaps more than you had in previous months of this year in particular. So one is a time for self-development, for self-appreciation, for self-knowledge, yeah, and therefore for confidence, for resilience, for stamina, and just hello, I'm here, I am, this is who I am, warts and all, and I'm ready to get going with all the value I can give. So yes, one can be about those statements as they're directed towards or out of the individual in question, but it can also be about self as it manifests in the world around us. Yeah. So one can be a time when we're learning about self outside of us, learning through self that is outside of us. And of course, we're always doing that. But through these things, we are also helped by life to come increasingly out of child and into adult as a 360-degree, 100% dynamic and offering, rather than perhaps the 99 or the 63 or the whatever percentage we were doing in the moments just before. So one, in a sense, is about conscious self. It is about self that understands what life is for it, because, of course, for each of us, life is a slightly different movie, at least slightly different. And so part of self-development is about getting the hang of, you know what, I'm not here to follow others. I'm not here to be another person or a version of me that I'm given. I'm here to discover from within me by listening to my gut, by listening to my responses and my intuition. Yeah. Listening to those things in a way that we come to know ourselves, and therefore the version of life that we're here to integrate with, to channel and influence and offer, but also to move into, shall we say, union with everybody else from the particular angle that we are here to contribute from. Hope that makes sense. So 10-1 can be a very powerful time, because 0 also in that 10 can talk about space, the need for space. And that's not necessarily your or my need for space, it's the universe's need for space. And therefore the universe's use of space, quietness, silence, not enough, inactivity, yeah, lack of things showing up as you need them. And again, that doesn't necessarily mean it's negative. Space can be wonderful, can't it? Space can be a day off. Space can be room to exercise, my goodness. So space can be experienced as a jarring phenomena, as well as also something that we really love. And at the end of the day, space is there to be loved, because it's through space that and therefore the welcoming of space, time out, that we actually get to rebalance and realign in truth, as it is now, ready for the next second. So 10-1 is brilliant, because 10-1 helps us reboot. 10-1 is the start. Again, it's the restart. Yeah, it's starting again in a way that doesn't need to mean a disconnect from everything that we've been up to. But on some level, 10-1 denotes that somehow we're going to shift into a new gear, shift into the next degree of our being, hopefully because we're working with life and not against it. But 10-1 is definitely a time, because life is also a dynamic that is constantly trying to channel us along. Yeah, move us along, usher us along to the right place. Do we always hear it? Do we always work with it well? No. If you're like me, not at all. But that's not the point. That's part of being human. What matters is we learn, we breathe, we process, and we get the hang of it rather than run away from it so as to help the next second be all that it can. So that's the birth number in October as it presents every year. And there are other things I can say about one, because one can also be leadership. One is adulthood. One is therefore leadership that is like, it's not leadership that tries. It's not fake leadership. It's not leadership that only looks at performance goals. One is that one in a spiritual, truly adult sense is a place where I value you because yourself is as valuable as me. You are a vital part of the jigsaw puzzle, just as I am. And therefore, we're supposed to walk through the door as winners at the same time. Not winner and loser, not more or less, not bigger or worse. Mm-hmm. And even though those dynamics can exist on scales, we're not supposed to do that to one another. We're not supposed to promote that in the world around us. And we all know these things, but that doesn't necessarily mean that we got it down pat on a practical giving, doing, channeling level yet, in terms of 100%. And so 10-1 comes along again to help us understand this and to help us see, so where is it that I can step into my authenticity, into my integrity, into my truth, but in a way that truth doesn't have to slam others out the way and doesn't have to yell the loudest or grab the center. Why? Because there is no center. For every stance of the circle, that's where the center is, according to the atom that lives there. But from the universe's perspective, there is no center. All is one. So that is 10-1, as a period, as a learning curve, and as a dare. So October brings us these sorts of dynamics to learn through, to learn with, and to celebrate even by the end of that period. Yeah, be aware of that, because therefore this month is obviously, I want to say, destined to help you into more clarity about you, your purpose, your fit, why you're here, and your path. Use it. Use space to give yourself the room to get in touch with what you're feeling, what you're thinking, what you're needing to process. Because as you do that, you're going to come into greater clarity, greater confidence, and a greater sense of, I know what I need to do next. And that's all we can be expected to do in any second. The other level of numerology is what I call the specific level. So October brings us 10 every year. But if I couple that with the year 2024, then I get 2034, which reduces to 9. And I find spiritually, energetically, and intuitively, you've got to look at both the specific and the generic levels in a chart, whether that's your chart, get in contact if you want me to do that for you, or whether it's the collective chart, as I'm talking about it by way of months and years. So 2034 says that we're here to work through the dynamics, and therefore not necessarily work. I don't mean work through as in labour. It's all right, sometimes life is a bit of a chore. But when I say work through, it's just work with, embrace, learn from, see it, observe it, realise. So 2034 says that through the aspects of social life, relationship, how you are interfacing with things, but also how things are interfacing with you. Through, again, zero, space, nothingness, lack even. Not necessarily because lack is really bad, even though, of course, in some parts of the world that's definitely manifesting. Zero can be lack of information, not enough info. It can be, hello, it's just not secure enough. I just got some I don't knows that are rattling my cage at the moment. Zero, again, can be time out. Yeah, so through those things, but also through 3, lessons in flow, realizing lessons in expression, the need to express to yourself, to others, to the universe, the need to let the universe express to you, because 3 is also communication from the divine, from the world of energy to us in a way that is supposed to inform constructively, productively, spiritually, in a way that then we harness in a physical level and help to come true. The last number in 2034 is the 4. If you've already tuned in to part 1 of this video series for October 2024, you've seen me ramble on a little bit about 4. It's the builder, it's investment, it's frameworks, it's quality, And of course, in the year 2024, lots of us are learning things about quantity versus quality, amount, you with me, surface versus depth, whether it's our own or whether it's other people's or whether it's just collective, the models we follow. And of course, that's a biggie right now, isn't it? So through these dynamics, we're here to get to 9. We're here to close things off. Yes, all right, in a physical level, but also in a spiritual level. And what do I mean by that? Really, what I meant there is perceptual level, because, of course, perceptual closure it's at least 50% of the deal when it comes to progress and success. We have to get things up here. We have to really understand them, really resonate with them, for then flow to come in the ways we've always sensed it can. And of course, numbers don't just talk about the physicality, the surface, the manifesting, the tangibility, even though those things are important and wonderful. Numbers also talk about how we are spiritually going to get it, what we need to do to anchor in to the right position, to even be ready to receive, to even attract as the magnets that we are. So 9 says that we're here this month to actualize closure, and therefore to actualize space in a way that space is clear of everything that is cluttering, that is blocking, that is forming obstacle or complication for us, for others, for life in general. So in a sense, this month, you could say, if you put those two numbers together on a being level, what we're here to discover is ourselves and selfness to the next degree, how space and silence and time out and spiritual connection really matters as not only a conduit to the one lessons and the one discoveries, but also to everything else. How therefore also we can take those dynamics into the 2, into the social realm and use them, and how the social realm needs our help in doing that through our responses, through our processing, so as to get the balance right. 9 is a place where we are preparing for tomorrow. We're not necessarily welcoming in tomorrow yet, even though, of course, tomorrow is part of today. It's linked to today. It's already on its way because of today and yesterday and all the times before. But 9 is a place that asks us to just clean up now, just clear it from all the dust and the debris. It doesn't really matter whose it is. It doesn't matter why it's there, even though, of course, it does. But clear the room, clear the space, give space back to the divine, because by doing that, we maximize the amount of room that the future has to bump on in next. These are the sorts of lessons, discoveries, positions you might be asked to embrace over the course of October 2024 as the birth number state. So my next video talks about the how you might be helped into these lessons. So feel free and make sure that you watch that too. So I'm going to close off here. See you in a couple of moments with the MO video. Thank you very much for tuning in.